Your Highness, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure for me to be back here in Doha. As Richard said, I've been to all three of the Doha Goals Forum, and I still vividly remember the first invitation that I got back after the London 2012 Olympic and Paralympic Games. And I was looking to have a bit of a rest, and it came through, and I hadn't obviously heard of it. It was the first time. I thought a bit of summer sun in Qatar in December, because it's very cold in Britain. Maybe that's a good idea for coming. A bunch of people that are really interesting to talk with, that's a good idea for coming as well. But the thing that caught my eye, and we've heard it on the video there from some of the people, is that this was a forum set up to create initiatives to make a change, not just to get together, have a nice time, and to talk about things, but actually to do something concrete. It's easy to say, it's more difficult to do. That's why I'm delighted to be hosting this next session, because I'm going to introduce you to some of the initiatives, concrete initiatives, that have come out of Doha Goals. First of all, I'd like you to give a warm welcome to Stéphane HOUDET, wheelchair tennis player, one of the best in the world, Hubin, one of the greatest Paralympians, high jumper, and two students from South Africa who've benefited from A Chance for All, which is the Doha Goals prosthetic initiative. Nazipo and Natando. Stéphane, you've been involved with this initiative from the start. Just tell me a little bit about it.
Well, you know, I always think to my father when it goes to this memories, and he told me nothing belongs to you until you give it to someone else. And Richard offered me the opportunity to give throughout the Doha Goals and the Doha Goals Foundation. So I came to an ideal, and the ideal was to have probably a rehab center as huge as the Aspire Zone. So, of course, it needs to go through steps, and steps through resiliency, recovery, goes first by your mind, how you can recover, and then what you need. So we were thinking about the first need, and the first need was for the kids. And we have the chance to have two kids from South Africa, and to start the initiative in Southern Africa with the delivery of prostheses first, but it's going to include also teaching how to use the prosthetic, how to probably also, but with the smile he has, it's better than other words.
Natando, you've just got your new legs. How are they doing?
They're doing good, sir.
They're good?
Yes, sir.
You were playing football this morning?
Yes, sir.
But Natando doesn't want to be a football player, do you?
No.
What do you want to be?
I want to be an athlete.
An athlete. Which event?
Long jump, 100 meter and 200 meter.
Good luck for you.
Thanks.
Nazipo's not going to speak, but just so you know, she had her first fitting last week, her entire right leg, right from the hip all the way down. So a big round of applause from Nazipo for being here just last week. She's going to start the process of learning to walk, and we look forward to seeing your progress, Nazipo. Hubin, you were here last year. You signed the agreement for this project. How exciting is it to be here today and to see two of the students benefiting?
我今天非常的高兴看到这些孩子穿上他的假腿，重新站起来，重新去奔跑起来。OK。
He's so happy to see those kids and they got their prosthesis installation, and then he's so happy to see them to stand up again.
谢谢。我非常感谢多哈大会，在去年我们签署了一个协议，在中国现在有30个像这样的孩子。 他们装上了假腿，他们站起来，父母看见他的时候，充满了希望，充满了未来。谢谢大会，谢谢 Richard。
Okay, and he would like to give thanks to Doha Gold Forum, because now in China, within the last year, there are 30 children who got the prosthesis installation in last year. So he would like to give thanks.
Again, Hubin, Natando, Stéphane, and Nazipo, thank you very much indeed. One last time.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move now from prosthetics to malaria. And before I introduce two people who are going to tell you more about this next project, Football Combating Malaria, here's a short video.
Le football peut faire des choses qu'aucun autre domaine peut faire. À travers du football, à travers de l'image de Messi, on peut faire que les enfants qui n'aiment pas tellement dormir sous les moustiquaires, pour avoir une moustiquaire avec l'image de Messi et pouvoir dormir à côté de son idole, ça devient un cadeau.
Please welcome onto the stage Yassine Djibo from Speak Up Africa in Senegal, and Ivan Bravo, who's from the Aspire Academy here in Doha. This is a joint initiative between the Lionel Messi Foundation, as you saw there, and also the Aspire Academy. And the agency on the ground is yours, Yassine. Just tell us a little bit more about the project.
Thank you very much. The Football Combating Malaria campaign is an initiative by Aspire Zone Foundation, Aspire Academy, and the Leo Messi Foundation in order to eliminate malaria in Senegal. And this initiative was born out of the Aspire Football Dreams program that's currently being implemented in 10 countries in Africa right now.
And I guess having Lionel Messi turn up does help.
Absolutely. Lionel Messi is the champion that we all know and love, and for children in Senegal and in the communities, having him as the ambassador and them wanting to be him when they grow up is an extraordinary opportunity.
And how big an issue is malaria?
Malaria today is one of the biggest health challenges, and really using football and the power of football to address it is phenomenal. Today, one child dies every 60 seconds of malaria, and there are still 165 million cases per year of malaria, despite the fact that malaria is preventable and treatable. So there is a lot to be done, and we're hoping that this campaign will allow us to be able to accomplish malaria elimination.
Thank you. Ivan, just tell us a little bit about Aspire's association with this and how you've facilitated it.
Well, so thank you everybody for the opportunity. So obviously we run a large project called Aspire Football Dreams in Africa and other countries, and we do it based on our belief, like with the young champions we had here on the stage, that sport is such a powerful tool when it comes from the love of a sport and the joy of a sport and playing a sport. And when we go to these countries, we felt we needed to leave a legacy, and we needed to contribute not only to the dreams of these young individuals to get an education and to actually become one day football players, but also in those communities to see how we could contribute to something so important such as malaria. This is being treated by other organizations, and it's not the only initiative, but for us to be able to use Messi and to be able to use FC Barcelona, and we had to thank them with all of our heart, because they do it in an altruistic way. You can see the reaction the boys get. You can see what the communities are, and you can see they were lining up a day before, 2 days before for the arrival. Malaria needs to be something that the kids learn about and they're educated about, so they use the nets and they want to actually prevent it and be careful about it. And when you bring sport, football, Messi, Barcelona and Aspire, that's what can happen. So we're incredibly proud of our partners on the ground, and we continue to expand the program over the years.
Yassine, Ivan, thank you very much indeed. Great project. And where are the students? Where are the students? Can we hear you? That's a bit pathetic, frankly. Can I hear the students? That's a little bit better. I've got two of you lot up here. Please welcome Elif Meme and Mackenzie Murdoch. Please join us. Now, these two were sitting where you were sitting last year, but they've done something about it, which is one of the challenges of the Doha Goals Forum. We're going to hear about their projects in a second, but first of all, Elif, you have a few words in Arabic, don't you?
Yes, I do. السلام عليكم. أشكركم لدعوتي لهذا الحدث الكبير وأنا أتشرف بتمثيل أسباير أكاديمي أمامكم اليوم.
So, this time last year, or 11 months ago, because it was in December, you were sitting there and you were involved with Doha Goals Forum. So what inspired you to do something, and what did you do?
Well, after being one of the 10 Romanian student ambassadors last year, I organized a running race whose aim was to demolish the cultural and generation biases in our locality, in Constanța. And the activity which inspired me to pass the Doha Goals baton was actually my first Doha Goals activity, the morning run with the champions. I recall that once I looked around at the multicultural diversity surrounding me, I was thrown into this expansive, amazing feeling of connection with all those youngsters from around the world that were very different for me, yet carrying the same interest as mine, which is sport. And then I realized that I wanted to make other people experience those feelings as well.
And you had an amazing run, didn't you? A 5-kilometer run, and there was a 2-year-old taking part, and there was a dog, and cycling. It was all sorts, wasn't there?
Yes, it was a 5-kilometer run. It wasn't a stiff run because we wanted to offer an organized environment to all those passionate about sports to compete in. All the participants received T-shirts, the winners' medals, and we had 600 participants, from which the youngest was 2 years old, as you said. The oldest was 8 years old. While the most inspirational was an athlete in a wheelchair, and the most popular was a former world-renowned boxing champion.
I travelled out yesterday with the Olympic 100-metre champion from 1992, Linford Christie, who was groaning at the thought of going up at 7:30 in the morning to do the run with the champions. But you never know what happens when you do a run with the champions. Something like this happens. Elif, thank you very much. That's brilliant.
Thank you, too.
So, Mackenzie, tell us about your experience from your visit here last year.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Mackenzie Johnson, who is my partner and really good friend, had the opportunity to be one of Olympiasm for Humanity's Canadian delegation, and so that way we were able to attend last year's forum in Doha Goals. So we were so inspired, the fact that we got to represent our own country in Qatar and have this amazing opportunity to learn about sports in this way. So yeah, that was really good. That's what my experience was there.
Okay, and you take people out to Olympia, don't you? That's your aim.
Yeah, okay, so our program is, we created an initiative called Traveling for Change, which raises funds to sponsor individuals to attend Olympiasm for Humanity's Praxis program in Olympia, Greece. And Olympiasm for Humanity provides participants with the inspiration, education, tools, and support to start up your own humanitarian programs using sport for social change. So yeah, this year was our first successful Traveling for Change event, and we actually raised enough money with a lot of support from the community to sponsor 1 full and 4 partial scholarships to go to Greece. How we raised the money was we held an event, 2 community basketball games, so featuring leaders in our high school basketball program in our community, and also adult leaders who are well known throughout the community who are willing to play for the cause as well. So all the players raised pledges. We had great support for the community with a lot of donations and charged admission and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
Great job, both of you, Elif and
Thank
Mackenzie.
you.
Big round of
Thank you.
applause. Okay. And we'll see a couple of you students there up here next year telling us about your initiatives that you've done. The next initiative we're going to look at is the Doha Goals Sports Fields Initiative. Please welcome up alongside me Andrew GETTIG, who's the Vice President of Connor Sport Court International.
Thank you.
Andrew, you're very welcome. This was one of the very first ideas that the Doha Goals Forum had. So just tell me about your involvement and how it's developed.
This was entirely their idea. It wasn't our idea. We are a manufacturer. My company is just a business. But we specialize in surfaces and sports surfaces in particular. They said their goal is to install courts in the West Bank in Palestine, in Gabon, and in Afghanistan. And we said, yeah, we can do that. And I'm happy to report that 2 of those courts were installed last month, one in Port Gentil, the other one in Medalist in the West Bank. And the third one is at the border right now between Pakistan and Afghanistan, waiting to get through customs.
Okay. One of the nice things as well was, and I've seen some of the pictures, I'm not sure if they're going to come up at any stage, is that the young people who are going to use the courts were helping to install them.
Actually, they got a picture right there.
That's it in the corner, yeah.
It was important to the organizers, and it's important to us, that the communities have some sense of ownership. It's not just something that's dropped off, we take pictures and wave and goodbye, but that the local community, they helped with the installation, the preparation, because when they do that, they feel they own it, and when we leave, they're planning the programming, they're training the coaches, they're putting things together for the young people in the community to be able to participate. And those courts, these are world-class courts. They're approved for international competition, and there you have the kids installing the basketball hoop.
That's brilliant. Good luck on getting it across the border into Afghanistan.
Excellent.
Andrew, thanks very much indeed. Big round of applause for Andrew and the work he's doing. The final initiative we're going to look at is called Global Watch. Before I invite Tokyo Sequela onto the stage, here is a video about his initiative.
The Global Watch program is a powerful effort by the Mandela Foundation, the SEXWALE Foundation, and the Doha Goals Foundation to end racism in sports.
FIFA and the global football community stands with you. Ladies and gentlemen, show the red card to racism.
I applaud Global Watch and their efforts to stop racism in sport and keep it out of our lives.
With the launch of the Global Watch initiative, let us unite our voices against discrimination in all its forms and in all sports, and with one voice, say no to racism.
One of the lessons that sport must teach us is that it says no to racism.
Barcelona dona suport al Global Watch.
Para dizer não ao racismo. To say no to discrimination in the sports across the world.
El deporte une a los hombres.
Et ceci est le véritable esprit sportif.
Let's do it for Nelson Mandela.
Tokyo, please come and join me. Tokyo, you've been fighting racism all your life, haven't you? Why is this so important to you, this particular thing, racism in sport?
Well, let me preface my comments by indicating that my first visit here, but I did speak in this forum last year. When I was supposed to have come here, we had an unfortunate incident back in my country with the death of Nelson Mandela. So I was able to come here through technologies, and I want to thank this forum for having stood to recognize the fact that we had lost that great man. But nevertheless, you put up Nelson Mandela here. This project, or this Global Watch thing, is a legacy to his memory. It is a partnership of 3 foundations. The Doha Goals Foundation, so it's inspired by yourselves here, the SEXWALE Foundation, as well as the foundation of the big man himself, Nelson Mandela. Speaking from the side of FIFA, as a member of FIFA, FIFA started the No to Racism campaign in football. But then it gave me an idea. As a freedom fighter, spending 15 years in prison with Nelson Mandela, he got 27, I got 15, so I had a discount. And I said, we're fighting with Blatter against racism in football. But this thing has got a problem in much broader areas of society. So I made a call that let's fight it in all sports so that it doesn't divide this kind of mankind, the rainbow nation that you see here. We briefed Nelson Mandela before his passing away. He is behind this because it's legacy. The people that you saw there, it just took one phone call to call a number of those people, Nobel Prize winners, they came, all of them. And I don't want us to take sides here because you are talking too much about Barcelona. Last week I was with Cristiano and the others. So Real Madrid is also behind this. I don't want politics of football. Give them an applause as well. For Cristiano, for Cristiano.
But Tokyo, there's a lot of work, isn't there, around, I'm okay, because I've got my mic there, but it's good.
I thought I was
you were helping me, it's good. There's a lot of work already about racism in football. What particularly is Global Watch going to do?
Global Watch is a call to action by all right-thinking people to take a stand, to say no to racism in all sports. because racism is a divider. Nelson Mandela says sport has the power to change the world. It has got the power to inspire, to do all sorts of things. So on the 20th of this month, ladies and gentlemen, we will be having a global summit in Johannesburg, in South Africa. At that global summit, where a number of you, those of you who have not registered, you can see me here or go to that space there of Global Watch. That global summit has got the objective of arriving at a global charter that governs the basic principles of people, the do's and don'ts in sports worldwide. Number two, after that global charter, we're going to have a global barometer. You have barometers on poverty, on wealth, and all sorts of things. It's high time that there is a barometer around the questions of racism. So that summit will arrive also at a barometer. The barometer is going to gauge how people conduct themselves, how they behave in respect of sports, and is going to be having an index that will be released every once a year, where we gauge countries within red, within green, as well as yellow. So that's what Global Watch is, and we hope that the summit is going to be successful. I must say, a friend of mine, Sheikh Faisal here, you've done a great job with this. We hope to see you in South Africa in the coming 2 weeks. I thank you.
Tokyo, thank you very much indeed. A round of applause for Tokyo. And indeed, for all of our representatives from the initiatives, and I'm sure this will become a regular feature at Doha Goals Forum when we hear of all the exciting things that have been achieved. But for now, thank you very much indeed.